Kapla to the Eiffel Tower, time-lapse 700 planks designed by Instant Build. Hello, today, I'm going to show you how to build the Eiffel Tower with Kapla. Here's a preview of the final product. I had to build it into D because I didn't have enough Kapla to do the full model. This was my first attempt, but as you can see, it collapsed in a mess. Alright, let's get started with the first leg of the Eiffel Tower. After building a small base, I begin with 3 Kapla pieces per layer with a small offset between layers. The offset should be less than a Kapla width. Once I reach about 15 centimeters in height, which is about 1.5 Kapla height, I start increasing the offset and place a temporary support to prevent the tower from collapsing. I continue until I reach a layer of 2 Kapla length. Then I add 2 more layers with no gaps to provide a strong span and counterbalance the cantilever. Now I start on the second tower. The second tower is placed about 4 Kapla length from the first tower. This tower is built exactly like the first one. I begin with a small offset pattern using 3 Kapla pieces per layer. Once the temporary support is in place, I start increasing the offset again. The offset gradually increases, ensuring it matches the first tower. Both structures should be built as mirror images to maintain balance. Once the second tower reaches the same height as the first, I connect them. The total span is about 5 Kapla lengths. It's important to avoid any gaps in the connection to prevent collapse once the supports are removed. Between the tower, I build a lightweight truss-like span. These planks do not contribute to the structure stability and are purely decorative. The towers after the first story of the Eiffel Tower are just layers of Kapla. I continue raising both legs, one by one, with a very slight offset. Try to build each towers at the same time to avoid creating instability. The towers shouldn't collapse as long as they are built carefully. It's best to construct them gradually without rushing to avoid losing balance. Please note that you could add temporary support, though I do not recommend it. I forgot to mention an important point. Both towers must be built in the alignment of the bottom towers. This will allow to distribute the tower loads properly all the way to the base. I continue until there's a single Kapla piece of distance left between the 2 towers. As you can see, I'm almost there. The structure is rising slowly but surely. And then disaster it, one of the towers collapses. I had stopped recording at that moment, but I've included some photos so you can see what happened. I had removed the supports too early before completing the structure, which caused the collapse. So, make sure to keep the supports in place until the very end. I rebuilt the collapsed tower while keeping the supports in place. Now, picking up where I left off, I continue adding layers with a slight offset. The second floor of the tower is 3 Kapla length. Again, do not leave any gaps in the bridge span. The 2 towers will eventually meet. Keep adding layers until they do. Once again, make sure each tower is built in the alignment of the bottom towers. At this stage, I had to climb onto a chair to continue building, as the tower had grown quite tall. The final structure stands at approximately 1.5 meters in height. However, since I started building mine on a table, the overall working height was even greater, making it a bit challenging to reach the top. Once the 2 towers are connected, the next step is to add several layers using 4 and then 3 Kapla pieces per level. As the construction progresses, the structure gradually tapers until there is no longer enough space to place 3 Kapla pieces per layer. This narrowing effect is crucial in replicating the iconic shape of the Eiffel Tower. Eventually, I reach the final stage, where I transition to a 2 Kapla tower. From there, I carefully continue stacking layers until I achieve the desired height, ensuring that the structure remains stable and well balanced throughout the process. Once the desired height is reached, it's time to start the 3rd level of the Eiffel Tower. I continue with small offsets, using 3 Kapla pieces per layer. Once I reach the limit on a 3 layers plank, I stop offset and go up another 5 layers. This will give the round shape to the 3rd and last floor of the Eiffel Tower. After that, I start narrowing the top, creating the characteristic tapering shape. After completing 5 layers, the structure has narrowed to a single Kapla length. At this point, it is time to finalize this last level. This step involves placing 5 planks side by side to provide a base for the antenna. Finally, the moment of truth, I carefully remove the temporary supports from the first level. I do this very slowly, as the structure is carrying a lot of weight. Each support is made of 2 vertical Kapla planks. The antenna fell down, as taking out part of the first support made the tower rock back and forth. I start by removing one vertical plank by support. I then move to the second support. Each Kapla planks weighed about 13 grams. Hence the full structure is approximately 9.2 kilograms. After removing fully the first support, the tower slightly shifts. Once the second support is removed, a small adjustment occurs. Once the weight distribution is complete, I can clearly see that the tower is well balanced and structurally stable. The structure is holding its shape without any signs of tilting or instability. This confirms that the design and construction techniques used have successfully ensured the tower's integrity, allowing it to stand tall and firm. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this build and maybe even feel inspired to try it yourself. If you liked the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more awesome Kapla constructions. Your support helps me create more builds and share new challenges.